Bitcoin consolidation, the calm before the storm, and we visit an altcoin that has proven to be an excellent indicator for big Bitcoin moves. What is up, everybody? Duke Dairy. What's up? What's up, Twitter? What is up, YouTube? If you're watching this replay video, hit the like button on the way in. It means a lot. I'm going to talk about Dash as a leading indicator for Bitcoin. I mentioned it in my video earlier today, and I said I would do a video tonight to kind of discuss this. This won't be a long video, but I'm going to look at the charts to really get an idea of what's going on. I did just tweet, Dash has been a reliable indicator for Bitcoin. Dash is currently up around 13% in the last day. It's something I'm watching. I think it's something that we all should be watching. Now, for context to this video, just to remind you in case you weren't even there, just to show you, we had this inverse head and shoulders on Dash back in, when was this? And this is not drawn very well, just to let you know, but this is the time frame when we were tracking this inverse head and shoulder breakout on Dash. This was March 18th. It happened prior to Bitcoin doing anything. Actually, when that happened, Bitcoin was in a 4-hour red candle. So you can see back then Dash broke out well before Bitcoin actually had its breakout. Dash, we tracked, we talked about, is this a leading indicator for Bitcoin? And as we know, we see how the story plays out. Bitcoin did follow Dash in that break out of that inverse head and shoulders. Bitcoin had a very similar inverse head and shoulders on the chart as well. It just took around, I think, 6 or 7 4-hour candles for Bitcoin to actually do anything, right? So Dash broke out, and then a little over a day, I would say, Bitcoin broke out. So now this is what Dash looks like in terms of the current move, right? I said 13%. This is around 13% right here for Dash. And then real quick, if we look at Bitcoin, you can see Bitcoin not really doing anything. Currently, you see the Dash breakout right around here on the Bitcoin charts. So very similar to what happened in mid-March when Dash broke out and Bitcoin was doing nothing. It's happening again. This is Bitcoin doing nothing, and this is Dash breaking out. So confluent with all of these things happening right now, Bitcoin is actually in a consolidation area with all these patterns happening as well with Bitcoin and Dash, right? So right now on the screen is Dash. And we have kind of two things going on. In white, you can see this descending triangle. And I want to say, I have notes here. Descending triangle is looked at most of the time as kind of a bearish setup, right? However, 64% of the time, if you're entering a descending triangle in an uptrend, as it did here, 64% of the time, a descending triangle actually turns out bullish. So in this case, you can see for Dash, this actually did turn out bullish, and it did kind of have some continuation. Now, we know consolidation could happen. We can kind of come back down and visit these trend lines. That's for another video. That's for another talking point. Interestingly enough, there kind of is an inverse head and shoulders that Dash also kind of just broke out of and pretty much hit its target right around $82 to $84. So taking all of that into consideration, we still have Bitcoin, right? Here's Bitcoin charts doing nothing. And now the question is, well, is Dash definitely, or is Bitcoin definitely going to follow in Dash's footsteps? That is, that remains to be seen. We track it. This is one indicator, everybody. We look at all these different technical indicators, patterns, momentum oscillators, and Dash is just one indicator. However, it's been a pretty reliable one, right? So in terms of Bitcoin, if it followed Dash's, 13% move or so that it just had from where Bitcoin is now, 13% move would be around $8,200 to $8,300. Interestingly enough, with that breakout range, we're hitting our target almost exactly out of this ascending triangle, right? And you might have seen the video that we did. This was April 4th, around 5 days ago, talking about this ascending triangle. This is the video, a snapshot of it. And we were right at 62% of the apex of that triangle. We talked about 62% of the apex is usually that breakout area. And we know in these ascending triangles, we get a 63% breakout to the upside, or we get a breakout to the upside around 63% of the time. And we got the breakout. Mind you, it wasn't exactly 62% to the apex. I think right here, the breakout was probably closer to 70%, but we got the breakout nonetheless. And now we're consolidating above. There is potential, I want to say, with everything that I'm talking about in this video, there's 100% potential that Bitcoin retraces to the upper trend line, $6,800 or so. Even with Dash doing what it's done, right? Bitcoin doesn't have to follow Dash and follow its footsteps. This is one technical indicator to watch. I've been watching Dash closely. You can ask a buddy of mine. Even when it was doing nothing, I just kept texting him, yo, I'm watching Dash. I want to see if it breaks out, because that could be a really good sign for Bitcoin. And I want to just bring up to you, Bitcoin follows Dash. Yes, it follows Litecoin sometimes. Litecoin's not breaking out right now. There are other altcoins that Bitcoin follows. I know there are some altcoins that have broken out recently. I think Link is one of them, Zcash. These are also all technical indicators. I just find reliability within Dash. And I like the fact that I own Dash as well. It's a big holding of mine in terms of altcoins right now. So I really wanted to do that just analysis based on Dash charts, because Bitcoin is following in its footsteps potentially. And I think it's something to keep an eye on. A little off the subject, wanted to bring up real quick. I came across this tweet: why gold is beating Bitcoin. And then, there's a newsletter that this guy Joe puts out. He argues that the crisis is really showing why the original safe haven is still king, talking about gold. And, no harm. It's cool. People like gold. People don't like Bitcoin. That's fine. But I just want to point out, because I do see a lot of arguments for gold versus Bitcoin lately all over the place. I think because of the fact that there's a pandemic, because people are looking at gold more, it seems. In the last 365 days or so, Bitcoin is up 41%. In the last 365 days or so, gold is up 30%. So Bitcoin is up 41%, gold is up 30%. Now, that's just in the last 365 days. You go back and you look at in the last years and you start comparing what's up more, it's a whole nother ballgame. So I just want to point out to everybody, and I want to say just right to you, Bitcoin just survived this crazy pandemic that shook the world in the last couple months. Everybody knows that drop kind of in mid-March or whenever it was hit all markets, traditional markets, gold, Bitcoin, cryptos, whatever. And Bitcoin just completely stood on its own, doing its thing, and still in the last 365 days is outperforming gold. So talk about a safe haven. Look in the last year alone, what has performed as a better safe haven for your investment. This isn't my opinion. This is strictly the data telling you that would be Bitcoin. Bitcoin has outperformed gold in the last 365 days, and that is with a pandemic happening right before our eyes. So just please remember that. Wanted to point it out. Those are my thoughts. That's my technical analysis. Wanted to do one right now. Appreciate you coming by. I see you in the chats. It's a little weird being on Twitter, Periscope, doing a live stream, but it's cool. I appreciate you all kind of being in there in the chats. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it. Hit the like button on the way out. Let me know your thoughts. What technical indicators are you watching? What altcoins are you watching? And have they moved recently? We'll check it out. We will see what happens. Will Bitcoin follow these Dash gains for 10% plus to the upside? Time will tell. We track it. Have an awesome night. I'll see you in the next video. And God bless.